Next on Worcester News tonight, one of their busiest nights of the year. Local and state police are cracking down on drunk driving. Plus, less than a month after the Red Sox win the World Series, the trophy makes a visit to Worcester. More on those stories in a moment, but first, as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday, potentially record cold weather is heading our way. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. Things are expected to stay clear tonight, but temperatures could drop into the single digits. Meteorologist Tim Kelly has the latest.
Yeah, we've had some raindrops, a few snowflakes go by. The snow shower activity mostly turned into rain shower activity. Now moving off to the east. That was the leading edge of the new colder air, coldest air, probably since last February or so. Look at the temperature plummeting by morning, about 9 or 10 degrees. Fairly uniform numbers around here because the wind is blowing. When you have a windy night, the temperature is fairly even. It's when you have those calm nights that you have a big difference between the hilltop and the valley. That's going to happen tomorrow night. Tomorrow in the morning, it's still 10 to 15 degrees. And at the airport on top of the hill, it's still only 13 degrees at 12:30. The wind is blowing from the northwest, gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour. So the wind chill value remains close to zero. The sun is out. It's a pretty day, pretty cold day. What about the weekend? It warms up in the 10-day in a few minutes.
And state and local police are prepared to step up patrols tonight. They say it's known as one of the busiest drinking nights of the year. And with an estimated 54 million people on the roads this holiday, the safety concern increases. Our Chandler Walsh joins us now with more. Chandler?
Olivia, police say it's a popular night for going out because college students are home for the holiday and people are back in town hoping to catch up with friends. Some bar owners say it's their biggest night of the year, more so than New Year's Eve.
It's one of the busiest bar nights. Worcester's Whiskey on Water says they bring in their most revenue the night before Thanksgiving.
This is kind of like the bar and restaurant industry's Black Friday.
To be prepared, co-owner Michael Ehrlich says they'll have police detail, 8 security staff, and 3 more staff at the door.
If there were to be some type of unruly action in the bar, having that number of people in there, I think would help eliminate that pretty quickly.
Local and state police say they'll be on the lookout for drunk driving.
We will be out in full force.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, about 800 people died from impaired driving during the Thanksgiving holiday from 2013 to 2017. State police warn residents before sitting in the driver's seat.
Just don't drink and drive, because if you do, chances are you're going to get caught and you're going to ruin your holiday.
Worcester police say Thanksgiving Eve is one of the few nights a year where city bars see extra large crowds. They're taking safety measures to make sure people are safe on and off the roads.
We have about 10 or so extra officers on the road, generally focusing on the bar areas. There are also a lot of detail officers at various bars that get crowded, so there are quite a few extra officers out there.
Lieutenant Murtha says anyone on the roads Wednesday night should drive defensively and anticipate what other cars may do. And for people who are drinking, he says don't overdo it and don't get behind the wheel.
If you're drinking at all, you probably shouldn't drive, especially if you're a younger person, you're relatively new to drinking. It's a good rule of thumb. If you're going to drink at all, just use an Uber or have a friend drive you.
And for people out in the city tonight, Lieutenant Murtha says it's important to stay with friends and avoid pedestrian-involved accidents by staying on the sidewalks. Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
New tonight, a family member is indicted on 4 counts of murder in the killings of a West Brookfield mother and her 3 young children. 32-year-old Matthew Locke was indicted for armed burglary and arson. He was charged with 4 counts of murder back in September and held without bail since that time. The bodies of 38-year-old Sarah Bermudez, 8-year-old Madison, 6-year-old James, and 2-year-old Michael were found in their home in March. A Shrewsbury man is formally charged with the murder and the death of 38-year-old Marlene Bleu. Bleu was found face down in the water in Lake Quinsigamon back in July. 33-year-old Joseph Delimprim was previously charged with strangulation or suffocation with serious bodily injury. He will be arraigned on the new murder charge at a later date. Switching gears now, St. John's Food for the Poor is busy helping those in need. Wednesday, the Soup Kitchen had a special surprise for its visitors, the 2018 World Series Championship Trophy. Our Brittany Schaefer was there. She has the details. Brittany?
Olivia, the Boston Red Sox won the World Series title less than a month ago. Therefore, the trophy hasn't made too many stops just yet. The Soup Kitchen says it's a special opportunity for those less fortunate. David Brony came to the St. John's Food for the Poor pantry as he does every day, but Wednesday there was a big surprise, the 2018 World Series Championship Trophy.
I've never seen one before. It's very pretty, very beautiful.
This is the first time the 2018 World Series Trophy has been in Worcester. Director Bill Riley says this is an opportunity those in need don't usually get.
The great thing is this trophy went from the TD Garden, to George Stadium to the St. John's Soup Kitchen. And it was great because all the less fortunate people that I feed every day, they can't afford a ticket or buy a hat or whatever, but this means a lot to them.
The Soup Kitchen feeds hundreds every day. Riley says everyone was smiling a little brighter today.
Just a typical day for me, watching everyone smile, all the less fortunate. Friends, volunteers that are here to take a picture. It's a picture of a lifetime for most of these people.
Those are true fans, and it was wonderful to see the outcome of it.
Lincoln Gay comes to the pantry often and says he's thankful for the extra steps they go for people in need. The Red Sox fan says the trophy is unlike anything he's seen before.
Our meal, get some vegetables, it's really helpful. No, not in real life. And this is why I'm so glad that I'm able to take the chance and come here today and having to see something like this.
The trophy was at the Soup Kitchen for a couple of hours today. Riley says hopefully it'll make its second appearance in Worcester soon. In the studio, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Growing every year, a Southbridge family prepares Thanksgiving dinner. This year, they are expecting more than 200 people. As our Rosalind Flaherty tells us, they say the goal is to make sure no one is alone or hungry on the holiday.
It's been a tradition for the Carrasco family for the last 6 years.
Every year there's just a story that really refreshes my heart.
The family and volunteers provide a community Thanksgiving meal on the holiday for anyone who doesn't want to be alone.
Just want to make sure everybody knows that they're part of a community and part of a family.
Wednesday, Rebecca and her kids load up their car with donated items for the meals. She says they plan to serve about 200 people at the Elm Street Congregational Church in Southbridge. They also deliver meals to anyone who can't make their own.
I think the first year we only had one person from the community come, but everybody just enjoyed it so much that we just said we're going to keep doing it.
Rebecca Carrasco says helping others isn't just important to her. It's also important to her children who say they enjoy doing it every year.
You get to see people smile on their faces when they get to be a part of the community. It's happy, but it's also fun.
They will start delivering meals at 11 and will start serving at noon. They say if anyone wants to help or wants a meal to come to the church. Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Another line out the door at Cultivate in Leicester Wednesday for day 2 of recreational marijuana sales in the state. Hundreds of people lined up for hours Tuesday and Wednesday for a chance to be part of history. Cultivate reached capacity at 2:30 yesterday afternoon and 4:30 today. They stopped allowing customers in line even though they are open until 8 p.m. They say by the time people currently in line get to the door, it will be closing time. We're also hearing from local law enforcement in the wake of the state's first day of recreational marijuana sales. It's been 2 years since Massachusetts voted to make pot legal for recreational use. And as our Cam Jandro explains, one police chief says this is a unique territory for him and his fellow officers.
Marijuana is on sale in Massachusetts, and while many lined up today to be the first to buy, not everyone will have a chance to try it. Police officers, for example.
We're not supposed to violate any laws, whether they be federal or state laws. So if it's a violation of a federal law, that's why it still pertains to police officers and, again, to companies that can regulate it.
Dudley Police Chief and President of the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association, Stephen Weiner, says he's been preparing for this day since the ballot initiative was passed 2 years ago. But the actual smoking of marijuana isn't his biggest concern.
With oils and concentrates and lollipops and gummy bears and soda and everything else that have a concentration of THC, people may eat more of it or consume more of it, and now all of a sudden have a larger quantity of THC in their systems.
This becomes a factor for users who get behind the wheel. Nonprofit Mothers Against Drunk Driving says they've put more of an emphasis on marijuana since it became legal in Massachusetts.
You're not seeing things as you should be, and it is dangerous. So I think it's just a matter of repeating that messaging for those that are not getting it.
The organization says one of their main concerns is the lack of options for testing a driver for marijuana during a traffic stop.
It's been a big worry for sure. Taking blood tests and things of that nature is not as cut and dry. So we're just encouraging law enforcement to play a large role.
Only 2 shops have actually started sales of retail marijuana, but more are coming. And before one starts in Dudley, Wayner is going to use Leicester as an educational tool.
We're looking very curious to see how this is going to get rolled out and go through, what impact it's going to have as far as black market sales versus legal sales, what impact it's going to have on kids and young people and exposure.
Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.